Hey everyone, so I wanted to shoot this little video about where we are at in the stock market. Today was a decent day for me. It could have been a little bit better, but my Tesla short, Elon Musk is very, very good at talking. And he said, oh, we're going to be more valuable than Saudi Aramco and Apple Computer all combined. We're the greatest company in the world. And that's what Elon Musk does. And he does that very, very well. And so today at the open, I was able to go in and sell my short for a nice $410 gain, which padded my day for the day. I had a sell option on it. I bought it at 12 and sold it at 16.10. So that was a nice $410 gain on a $1,200 investment, which if you do the math is 30 some percent, and that's always nice to sleep and make 30%. So nothing wrong with that trade at all. And then of course I did trade it during the daytime as well too, stepped back into it when it gained a little bit, stepped back into it for a little bit of a ride down. And it might be able to be done a couple of different times, I'm not sure. But made another $140 on it during the daytime as well too. So it is what it is, and you move on. It was just a trade. That's all that was, and we made our profits off of it. So move on, Brian. So I wanted to show you in this video where we're at in the stock market. I believe that some dark days are coming. There's some different news articles. One, the Philly Fed came out and said, things are bad. Inflation is soaring. We're not seeing any production in our zone. The Atlanta Fed, of course, has said the same thing. The Dallas Fed has said the same thing. All of the Federal Reserve boards have all been saying the same thing. The New York Federal Reserve also said the same thing, that, hey, things are really, really bad out there from a business perspective. So we'll have to see. The Commerce Board came out today and said, we are on the cusp of a recession here. And it is bad. Of course, everybody's trying not to talk about any of those things until after the election, but nobody really likes Joe, so they're talking about it before the election, which is pretty rare. It normally does not happen that the Democrats break ranks like they are right now, but they're running scared as well too. All of the generic ballots all point out in early voting in Georgia is through the roof, and that doesn't speak well for the Democrats at all. So we'll have to see how all of that all plays out. Of course, we did have the coup a couple years ago, so maybe we're not going to have another one of those for a while. But we'll have to see how Election Day plays out. And I guess maybe the market's kind of pricing some of that investigative stuff in as well too. We'll have to see going forward. Don't know exactly what's going on with it, but we do know some mathematical data here. So here is the XLP, which is, Coca-Cola's and things like that. It's clearly broken red. And it's done it in a pretty good fashion, going from 0.8350 down to 0.8276. And it is, these two red columns there, the 9976 and 9876, that is a confirmed downtrend. And we are looking for this to sell down to 65.58, 6558 on XLP. I did go in and tried to short it today, but it just would not trigger to be able to get in there. And keep in mind, when you short these, there's not a lot of, they're very, very inexpensive. There's not a lot of activity in the shorts or in the longs on this. This is the XLE, which has been stable. It's kind of our stable coin, if you will. We do have the potential for a drop to 78.06. There's a couple of people that watch this that are trading short oil right now. And 78.06 is what we're kind of looking for on the downtrend here. We have broken down 99.68 from 102.53. And we'll have to see. We're still in that positive uptrend, so we could have a positive up day again tomorrow. I believe that the trend is a little bit short there. You can see that 8422 to 8359. You do the math and you'll be able to come up with 78.06. Everything else is still all good though, and that 99.81 that we printed today is actually strong enough that we could bounce back. So we'll have to see what happens with oil. Here is the utilities. I did short the utilities sector for about $110 today as well too. It's a slow moving thing. And it is what it is. But you can see again here, we've got a confirmed breakdown, 98.90 to 98.33, 99.59, 97.93. 93.53 to 82.51. If you do that math, then you'll find that we do have lower to go on the utilities sector. The reason that normally utilities are a safe haven when markets turn volatile. However, because interest rates are ticking up and because our utilities are so old and archaic around the globe, they all need massive investment, and the only way to be able to get the massive investment the utilities need is to borrow a hell of a lot of money, and most of the utilities are kind of tapped out as well too, so there's not a lot of things that they can do. They're going to look for government to be able to try to fix things, and as you know, governments around the globe are going bankrupt too, so there's not a whole lot of money left in the world. So utilities are definitely breaking down hard. Makes perfect sense when you think about it. XLK, the tech sector, again, a little bit of a breakdown there. Still in rally mode. Those ones across the board there are good. We did have print to break 83.57 to 83.13, and we are 99.18, 99.76 there. Those are low enough numbers that if we don't get a rally in tech tomorrow, then tech can break down and the rest of the market can break down. So not exactly the best thing in the world. We'll have to see what happens with tech tomorrow. This was interesting. Materials sector. Materials sector is fully breaking down, 0.9830. You can see the blues that come in there again too. You know the blues are exceptionally dangerous. 95.43. And then 83.38 to 82.81. That is not good. We are looking for a drop to 66.58 possibly. Have to do the math again, but also look at those numbers, 9887 and 9937. There is no recovery from that for tomorrow. We will be in a confirmed downtrend in the XLB materials sector, which is where they get all that stuff to put into batteries and stuff, which is kind of weird. This is the consumer consumer discretionary, things like Teslas and stuff. Who wants to go out and buy a $70,000, $80,000 Tesla? Please raise your hand. And there's not very many people wanting to raise their hand. We are breaking down here again to 99.34, 98.89, and we are confirmed into our downtrend there at 0.8274. And there is no coming back again from that either. So look for that to continue to keep dropping. We have more downside on that unless they happen to prop it up tomorrow. So we'll have to see. But in the data sets from Tesla were not good on their mathematical models, and that's why Tesla continued to keep selling off throughout the day today. And Elon Musk could not even save his own company. This is the communications sector because utilities have so much debt. They are moving that money into the safety of communications. However, communications are very scary too because nobody's paying their bill. People just don't have the money to pay the bill. They're paying for groceries, so they are not paying their cell phone bills. And at some points in time, look for communications to break down. It started to do that a little bit here today. We are still ones and ones, so that's still good. Money's still flowing there. But then that 0.8318, 0.8349, you can see that we do have some potential for a downside in the communication sector. And 9936 and 9982. It would need some new investment to be able to save itself for tomorrow, and we'll have to see whether we get that or not. Going into the XLF, which is the financial sector, as you know, because the German economy is collapsing and because the Great Britain economy has collapsed, and the Japanese economy is basically frozen, we really don't have very much to hang our hats on from the concepts of banking. Who cares that interest rates that the banks can charge are now high enough where they can make some money? Most of their deposits are actually held at the Federal Reserve, and the government of the United States is paying them a ton of money in the overnight rate to keep cash in the Federal Reserve. So that's why the Federal Reserve's been sending cash to Switzerland. But here we have, looking at the data, we do have a breakdown there, 9887. That's a pretty good size breakdown. And then we did break from 0.8338 to 0.8282. That is not good. And 9984 and 9938 or 9884. I don't believe that we recover from those numbers. If we do, we start to do it tomorrow and we carry that over into Monday over the weekend. I don't see that happening. So at the end of the day, I look for tech or the financial sector to break down as well too. It is in its breakdown. Breaking down, here is the healthcare sector. Healthcare sector, same thing. As Americans are breaking and going and getting fixed, they don't have the money to pay the bill. So who pays the bill? Nobody does. It just sits there. You got to save your dimes like my mom did to pay for my open heart surgery. That's how my mom paid for my open heart surgery. She saved her change. There was other people that made some donations in there as well too. But here's what we got going on in the healthcare sector. Again, we can see that we are 99.79, 99.82, just underneath our ones. It's actually kind of a strong. We did break down 0.8356, 0.8308. We are looking for about a 119.54 drop in that healthcare sector, and debts are piling up in there. Here is the last sector that I watched, the industrial sector. Again, the same things, breaking down 0.9864. Ones still, because we are still onshoring everything, and we do need to produce a little bit. Oh, and ports, by the way, too. Port of Los Angeles came out today and said, we're really scared because there's no boats to unload, and we're running out of things to do. And so the economy is freezing. There is nothing at the port of Los Angeles, which is a scary thing when you think about it, because how are we going to get our food if we don't have food coming in through the port of Los Angeles? It's a little bit interesting. So 0.8360, if you don't have bags of rice, I would suggest that you go out and buy a few bags of rice right now just to put them in the closet and keep them there. It's not going to hurt. It doesn't go bad. It's kind of a little hedge so that you can always eat in case things do get bad. Anyway, 0.8360, 0.8294, that's breaking down. And our recovery, do we recover? Do we recover? I do not believe that we do. 9905, 9953. I believe those two numbers are too low. I believe that we go further lower. And notice how we're right up against the trend line there, 2863, 8631. We're right there. There is no place, no space for negotiation on this one. We either go up or we go down, one of the two. We'll find that out tomorrow as well too. The rest of the market as well too, it does not look good based upon what's going on in the sectors. We technically broke down today. That's why I was moving short hard all the time, all day long today. And 0.8352, we broke down to 0.8297, 0.8297, 0.82987, sorry. I don't believe we recover tomorrow from that. We're looking for a -6, because if we do that math, 0.83523 divided by 0.82987, we come up with a 6.45% drop in the Dow, 6.45% drop in the Dow. And the Dow was trading yesterday at 3294, so we have to take that 3294 into account. And we're calling for a Dow drop to about 28,340, 28,340. If we looked at the spectrograph of all of the other data sets that we had in this realm, we were 29,167 and 28,985. Notice how close those two are. So we're somewhere in that 29,167 down to 28,340 is where we're expecting that drop to go to. And today's data did not save us in any way. So I believe that we have further downside to go in this market. I believe that we are there on the precipice. We'll have to see what happens with our day tomorrow. And then news cycle and all the other things were not exactly that great from the things that I follow on Zero Hedge and some of the other news channels that I watch. Philly Fed data, of course, as I had talked about, the other Fed Reserve data did not sound good. Housing is the worst it's been in since 2008 now. It's crashed. In the United States it has. In Canada it's still holding up exceptionally well. And here in Windsor, of course, it's holding up very, very well. But anyways, those are the pieces of data sets for you and I to disseminate. Have a great night.